not just your imagination. This is the dustiest year the county has seen in more than a decade.
Yeah, this past weekend's dust put our unhealthy air quality days at 5. And News 3's Ophelia Young joins us with what that means for our lungs. Ophelia?
Yeah, that's right, Latoya. In an average year, we'll only have 1 or 2 days where the air quality has unhealthy levels of dust. In the last 2 years, we've had 3 days, and this year we have had 5 so far. A pulmonologist with UNLV says this could be taking a toll on your health.
Particulate matter 10, basically dust.
It has organic matter in it, it has some specific metals in it, it has different gases also.
Here in the Las Vegas Valley, it's that and mostly dirt, lifted up and transported in by wind from neighboring deserts. UNLV Associate Professor and pulmonologist Dr. Kush Modi says it's the reason Vegas has more asthma and allergy patients than other parts of the country.
Oh, definitely, because Vegas has very dry weather, as we all know.
No rain, more winds. The Clark County Department of Air Quality says they've seen more unhealthy air days due to dust than any other in more than a decade.
The drought conditions are a major factor in this, we think, because you look at the high winds plus those dry conditions, it's bringing up a lot more dust than we've had in years past.
Dr. Modi says some of that dust is stopped in the nose by a process we all know as allergies, the particles that make it further into your body.
And they can get into your lungs and sometimes can get into your blood also. And when they get there, your body tries to fight it with, just like it will try to fight an infection, it will cause inflammation.
Those are short-term effects. The long-term damage.
There is higher risk of lung cancer, there is higher risk of strokes, there is higher risk of adverse cardiac events.
I asked, how can we protect ourselves? The answer is simple. The Air Now app. It tells you when you should limit outdoor activity. It's all we can do for now living in the Mojave Desert. Meanwhile, the Department of Air Quality.
I think we have to keep our eyes open right now and really dig into more deeply why we're seeing more of this year. And that's going to take some long-term research.
And the Air Now app, as you saw earlier, is free to download and easy to use. And on a side note, I checked in with the National Weather Service earlier today about some numbers with the red flag warnings. This year, we have had 22 red flag warnings. This time last year, we only had 8. Some food for thought.
This inflation really making it so hard for families to make ends meet right now. It's forcing some people to look for alternative ways to try to bring some money in and make their family budget work out. And locally, we're talking about pawn shops. News 3's Steve Wolford live at the world famous Gold and Silver Pawn right in downtown Las Vegas with a closer look. And it's a growing trend, Steve.
Yeah, that's right. A pawn shop is really a good place to take the pulse on the local economy. When times are good, they see a lot of buyers. But when times are tight, like they are right now, it's sellers.
Definitely some play money for it. It's not going to help with the rent.
Kimberly Wood is visiting Las Vegas from D.C., but when rising costs started eating up her play money, she needed a quick shot of cash.
And be able to turn in some items that you don't necessarily need to get some money that you could use on a vacation, because basically that's what I'll be doing with the money, using it in the casino.
But in recent months, local Kurt Dreger says an occasional pawn shop visit has been a necessity.
It's been very difficult for me, and what we had to do was go in to say sell our gold, sell some silver, and that to meet those obligations.
When people come in, you can always tell what they need and how bad do they need it, and they're pretty open about what they need it for.
Andy Zimmerman, the CFO at Gold and Silver Pawn, says he's hearing about more need to pawn valuables for higher rent, rising gas prices, and just keeping food on the table as household budgets are stretched razor thin.
A lot of times they just get it for 2 weeks until they get the next paycheck, and so they're able to pick up their item, and then hopefully they're okay, but sometimes they come back at the end of the month again and have to repawn something just to make that end meet.
Ironically, Zimmerman says they were expecting to do a lot of buying during the pandemic because of massive job cuts. Instead, the loan balance went down, people were flush with stimulus checks and did a lot of buying. But now inflation seems to be doing what COVID-19 couldn't.
And so we're seeing the loan balance start to creep back up. We're seeing items now coming into the shop that we're buying.
And we're seeing the same thing happening overseas right now as inflation soars. According to The Independent, which is a British newspaper, the UK's largest pawnbroker is seeing record demand. The annual inflation rate right now in the UK is 9% compared to 8.3% here in the U.S.
And Lauren, you've been taking what our viewers are telling you and bringing those concerns directly to the folks in Washington.
Yeah, Jim, we were, and we definitely asked those questions. We asked the deputy director of President Biden's National Economic Council when parents could finally expect fully stocked shelves. While she never responded with an exact timeline, she did stress help, and a lot of it is on the way.
For weeks.
Stressful.
We've heard it from moms.
It took me 3 days. 3 days of calling and showing up at stores.
We've heard it from dads.
It was like when the pandemic first hit and nobody could get anything, no toilet paper or anything. It's like that now.
And we've heard it from doctors.
It's a problem.
The ongoing baby formula shortage is causing severe frustration among parents trying to feed their babies. An ongoing problem since February, when major baby formula producer Abbott had their Michigan plant shut down. The FDA at the time citing safety concerns. Last month, the federal government said help was on the way, launching Operation Fly Formula to speed up the import of overseas formula and to get it on the shelves as fast as possible. But today around town, shelves on stores varying from somewhat to extremely empty. And parents telling us on social media they're still struggling too. In early May, tracking firm Data Assembly reported Las Vegas to be the town the hardest hit by the shortage, but its newest data pushing it down to the 6th hardest hit city, but still at a staggering 84% of out-of-stock rate. Today,
understand how difficult this shortage has been for families all across the country.
One official in attendance, the president's deputy director of the National Economic Council, Samira Fasili. After this roundtable, News 3 asked her directly, when can parents finally see fully stocked shelves?
We see kind of normalization on the horizon.
And while she never gave an exact timeline, she did point to the steps from the administration to help the supply chain get back on track.
And we're still going to do all that we can to ramp up supply, work with manufacturers to make sure that they have the other manufacturers to make sure that they have increased production.
Hi, everybody. I'm Reed Cowan from News 3 Las Vegas. We want to thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. Remember, you can always see more of our videos by clicking on the video links. And also don't forget to click that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any of our YouTube updates. Thanks for watching.